South India, but it is also common in Vidarbha and Maharashtra and Madhya Pradesh, sorry. Then there is a BIS hives, Bureau of Indian Standard, ISI hives, Indian Standard, kya pata hai. So there are two types, BIS A and BIS B. BIS A is for Apis cerana, BIS B for Apis mellifera. So this is one type, this is another type, and then the Langstroth hives, badi hoti hai, for Apis mellifera. Then traditional hives includes clay pots. Tradition में जैसे गांव में जाओ तो they put the clay pots and they collect these. And log hives, एक झाड़ को तोड़ के उसको खाली कर देते हैं. That is called log hives. For smaller native bees. Bamboo hives for solitary bees. Very simple to get the bamboo hives, solitary bees inside. You take the bamboo, cut it into pieces, and put it, and then apply some honey or something. This will do it. They need location, so they can get it. Right? This is Serena. You see this? Nice honey here. ये हमारी honey बर्बाद कर दी है. पर अभी हैं जरा नहीं. This is Newton hive. Next. This is the Langstroth hive. Okay, this picture is from my apiary in Kenya, Africa. Right? My institute where I was. And these are all my PhD students. So this hive consists of, there is an outer cover, then an inner cover, when you cover this, and these are the honey supers. Either you put one or two. Super means where they collect honey. Now, to avoid queen to go up, otherwise she'll go up and lay eggs there, we put queen excluder. So, workers can pass through, but queen cannot. Queen is big fat. Right? And this is a brood chamber. Right? And this is the bottom board for supporting, and there is a stand. So, this is a complete picture of hive. This hive as well as that, same, both are same. Next. See, this is again the picture I have taken from my place. This is a stingless bee production. Yeah? These small boxes have beautiful comb, the way I have shown you. Right? And we produce a lot of stingless bees and sell it to the market. It gives a lot of money. Next. Now, see carefully. You see this long thing? This is for solitary bees. All these. Of course, we had a carpenter, so we made special things, but we don't have. We just take the bamboos also and that kind of. But this is just because our UN system, so we have to be very careful with the quality. So this is for carpenter bees. That bhora. We used to produce a lot. So when you collect and throw in the field, you get good pollination. And this is the way you can also develop the other pollinators. I want to see who brings the maximum pollinators on Sunday. Sunday you will go see the flowering plants, but don't cross highway, just nearby, gardens and other places. And collect those things in a tube. Bring them here. We'll identify. Okay? They don't sting. They don't sting. You don't have to worry about that. Honeybees, yes. Honeybees can sting. But then, how will they can? You have some cages of net. Honey production. How bees produce honey? The production of honey is directed by queen bee. Queen bee बोलती है कि जाओ भाई honey बनाओ, for example. And implemented by workers bees through chemical communication. Queen bee से chemical communication आता है pheromones. Order निकलता है उसमें. एक ही जना order देता है, दूसरा नहीं Honey starts as flower nectar collected by bees which get broken down into simple sugar. The nectar लेके आती हैं, that is a sucrose sugar. जो शक्कर खाते हैं ना आप लोग white वाली, जो भी नहीं खानी चाहिए, that is sucrose. The simple sugar is that complicated sugar is converted into simple sugar, glucose and fructose. So any honey bottle, sometimes you see the white sugar down in the bottle. Have you noticed that?
Yes.
What is that? कोई नहीं sugar add नहीं किया. It is a glucose. When the glucose is very high in any nectar, that honey after some time solidifies. How it is solidified? Pollen inside the honey covered with glucose, and that layer of white, and above you will find very clear honey. That is fructose sugar. So fructose and glucose. But normally in the honey, for when you harvest for 1 or 2 months, nothing happens. After that, if you keep it, and do not keep the honey in the fridge, never ever. फ्रिज में रखेंगे जम जाएगा. So honey starts as flower nectar collected by bees which get broken down into simple sugar, glucose and fructose, stored inside the honeycomb. Bees also collect pollens and mix them with the honey to make it colorful, ranges from dark brown, amber or white. So whatever color you get in the honey is because of the pollen, not because of the nectar. If the bee goes on the sunflower field, you get yellow. Yeah? Some honey you get dark. Dark is when they are in the jungle honey. Right? When you bring the honey from forest, it's a black one. It's not a bad one. Right? It's a good one. But it differs, dark brown, amber or white. It should not be very black. It should be dark brown. Very black means what happens? There is a chemical. Come on, old man. Hydroxymethylfurforaldehyde. HMF. This is a test which you have to do in the honey to sell it outside the country. HMF. Hydroxymethylfurforaldehyde. This one is converted, how the fructose is converted into HMF by hydrogen peroxide. And where do you get hydrogen peroxide? When you open any honey bottle, you get a pungent smell, right? That is hydrogen peroxide, which is always there to protect the honey. But if you keep the honey under heat, under the sun, that peroxide converts fructose into HMF, hydroxymethylfurforaldehyde, which turns honey into black color. Right? ज़्यादा chemistry तो नहीं बोल रहा हूँ, समझ रहा है ना? So 4 steps are involved in honey making process. First, forager bees collect nectar and pollen. Second, bees pass the nectar and pollen to the house bees. You see, they only bring, and house bees are there, nursing bees, which is called house bees. They transfer the nectar and pollen on the tongue of the house bees. Now these house bees dehydrate the honey through wing fanning process and reduce it to 17 to 20%. Because nectar has water content of 23, 24, 25%. They reduce the water by fanning with the wings. And then it becomes thick. That's why honey is thick, because it has 17 to 20% of water only. The bees cap the honeycomb with beeswax. After that, when they fill it, they cap it to keep the honey fresh for many years. The forager hypopharyngeal glands produce carbohydrate metabolism enzymes, alpha-glucosidase, amylase, glucose oxidase and invertase. They mix all this in the honey. That's why they say don't put honey in the hot water, don't heat the honey. It spoils all this. In your honey, all these things are there. Alpha glucosidase, amylase is a good enzyme, glucose oxidase, and invertase, all energy. If you boil the honey, finish. Then you get only syrup. Yeah? Alpha glucosidase is needed for processing nectar into honey. Because of this, the nectar is converted into honey. Glucose plus glucose oxidase is converted into gluconic acid plus hydrogen peroxide, which I was telling you just now, to prevent dilute nectar and syrup from fermenting. It does not allow honey to ferment. But if you put water, honey ferments. Invertase inverts sucrose into glucose and fructose. Invertase जो enzyme है, वो convert कर देता sucrose को glucose and fructose. So this is how honey is made. And whatever you eat is this. Right? The house bees polish the honeycomb. They polish the honeycomb. See, without polishing, they don't put honey. How do they polish? They polish with propolis. Propolis they collect from plant buds or bark. That's sticky substance. Which I think I told you that. Sticky substance that they polish completely and then they fill the honey. The cost of this pilot project for 4 modern hives and accessories accounts for rupees 28,000. जिसमें से 60% subsidy अपनी सीतारमन दे रही है, finance minister. I mean, it is their government subsidies there, right? But if you go through Khadi Gram Udyog, I think they give you 80% subsidy. वो जो hives अपन दिए थे यहाँ से, engineering college के पास hives आई थी, 80% subsidy. That means वो भी ठीक है, but you know the problem is they give Apis mellifera only. They don't give Apis cerana. And Apis mellifera is very difficult to maintain in Nagpur environment or in Vidarbha environment. That's why I would suggest you to go for 60% and buy that. 60% subsidy is guaranteed. The rest you can get from the bank. Banks are there. I'll tell you at the end how banks you can process your application. So the average honey produced per hive is 8 to 12 kg per year. This is for 8 to 12 kg for Sirana. Into 4 years, 32 to 48 kg, yielding rupees 14,400 in the first harvest, and you can sell it at 300 kg per kilo. Right? So this is the business model. This is what you can earn keeping 4 hives. If you have a field, कोई खेत मिल जाए, nothing like that. You select a field who is growing tuar, soybean, all these things. You take your hives and put it there. उसको बोलना यार, I'll give you 20% honey. Then you don't have to look for this place. You just put your hives there and get honey free. Because he has got a lot of crops. Probably he should not spray flowering plants. Even cotton gives very good results with the honey. In Egypt, we have done that. See, I was in 26 African countries, so I know all these countries who are doing this. Egypt is producing beautiful cotton and no spray at all. And then they do all organic. And the result is beautiful Egyptian cotton. Next. Now, once you have the hives framed, full of honey, you see white cap, which I told you, when the honey is sealed with the white cap, then you put this one in the extractor. Yeah? Unfortunately, I cannot show you extractor here, but within 3 to 4 months, we are getting our extractor. Because this is a new department. And I came, so I started getting money, which we got finally, and now we are going to do that. So with that one, you can get very clear honey and see the color of the honey because of the pollen. This is Ethiopian picture. When I was in Ethiopia, they produce a lot of honey. And this is our honey from Ethiopia which we sell to the international market. So establish apiary of honeybees, A. serena using rectangular frame hives. This is called rectangular frame hives. In 6 to 8 months with good floral cycle and water availability, honey harvested in 9 to 10 months. And then the first year, the first harvest you can do is after 9 months, not before that. From seed comb using rotary extractor filtered and bottled for market or cart. From wax, propolis, oil, jelly, etc. The cost of a pilot project for a farmer using 4 modern hives is 28,000, which I told you already. This you have seen, this is how she pollinating. Okay, next slide. This is just to show you, I think it's a repeat. But yeah, this is very interesting. If you want to test honey, the sugar milli hai ki real honey hai. What you should do, take a glass, put cold water and throw honey like this. If it is a good honey, it will not break. If it is little sugar, it will come here and spread. If it is too much sugar, nowadays they are selling Chinese syrup and they are telling this is honey, right? ये जो बड़े-बड़े organizations and I don't know what name, they are mixing honey. So their honey is like this. So you can test. Even when you have honey in your house, take this and pour it. But it should be cold water, not hot water. So in cold water, you get that layer. Beautiful. After some time, you can, with spoon, you can dissolve it. But not initially. Initially, you should get that single layer going down. Yeah? So this is the one indication. I mean, you can identify good honey from the bad honey. Or, you can put honey here. It should roll. If it absorbs, there is a problem. It should not absorb, it should roll only. Yeah? Unless I do like this, then it will absorb. But if you just put it, you will see it is rolling. That is another way of checking the honey. See, when we used to go to the field and we used to buy honey from the farmers, we used to do this method and this coat method. Huh? Not coat, shirt method. Right? So then you can, they cannot cheat you. Next. Propolis. This is what propolis is. This is how. Has anybody heard about Google? Google who?
Yes.
हाँ? हवन में यूज करते हैं ना, यही है वो. गूगल इसी को बोलते हैं, प्रोपोलिस को. जंगल से लाते हैं वो लोग और उसको मिक्स कर देते हैं हवन सामग्री में. तो दिस इज गूगल प्रोपोलिस. इसलिए वो बोलते हैं ना कि हवन करो तो घर में शुद्धि होती. वो ये बेचारा है जो शुद्धि करता है, तो लकड़ी शुद्धि नहीं करती. Now this is very common in the market. You can get these if you have cough or asthma problem. Guaranteed. This you can, without any problem, can take it. Yeah. It is also used in cosmetics. It is used in medicine. It is used in food technology. Extension of frozen storage life of fish by 2 to 3 times. Frozen storage life, उसमें अगर प्रोपोलिस लगा दो तो थोड़ा सा रुक जाती है सड़ने की तरह. Next, अब how do you make it? Propolis is a sticky substance collected by bees from bark or bud of plant for cementing their nests. Main purpose is for cementing their nests. It is to help skin bees. Propolis is collected from the beehive where it is deposited above the top hive box on the hive floor or near the hive entrance. I'll tell you how we do it. This is your box, right? This is your hive, right? How we used to prepare. We take a plastic sheet and then we cut the plastic sheet into round. We give so many holes in the plastic sheet. So it is like a jali of plastic. That one we put it at the top. See, when we use the propolis, we don't put super. We don't want honey. We put it here. And we leave this lid slightly open. So as soon as the light penetrates inside the hive, bees get irritated because they don't want any light inside. So what they do, they collect the propolis and fill those round to make the hives dark. You got it? Now what we do after say 12 to 15 days, yeah? We remove the plastic sheets. It is completely filled with propolis. When you put it in the fridge, as soon as you put it in the fridge, it becomes brittle. And then you press it and propolis is ready. So simple. Then you can sell it. It's very costly. Propolis is not very simple. Bees can be induced to deposit propolis to the use of a slotted wooden or plastic sheet. What we do, 2 to 2.5 millimeter size holes slotted that covers the top or sides of the hive box. The bees seal the slot with propolis. Sheets are removed from the hive and are cooled in a deep freezer to detach the propolis chips. The price of raw propolis in India is 2,000 to 3,000 rupees per kilogram. So if you get somebody's hive who has got 25 to 30 hives, you can take the plastic sheets and tell him, I want to just put this plastic sheet. And you put the plastic sheets and after 15 days go and collect your plastic sheets. Give him some money because without money nobody will allow you to do it, right? So this is how the price is. And then it is used for capsule.